Well, a lot of rights going to be gone. The First Amendment.
But the First Amendment, the Second Amendment. Yes. Look, I'm in favor of the Second Amendment. I don't believe we should be taking anybody's guns away.
In psychiatry, there's a term called projection. What you just saw was a perfect example of it. Welcome to another installment of the Connecticut Gun Bench. Today's video is brought to you by P.A.N. Firearms, LLC. P.A.N. Firearms, your NRA certification, multifaceted gun training. You can reach us at 203-300-6343 or use our website at www.panfirearmsllc.com. As always, there'll be a link in the description box below. And you like channel, like content, you can support me with the link. Everything is appreciated. And once again, about comments, YouTube gun-related channels are being scrutinized very heavily. So if your comment disappears, I'm not doing it. If I remove your comment, I will tell you. But just be aware of that. But let's talk about this now. Kamala Harris, in her last-ditch effort to make herself relevant, has been pretty much bombarding media. Remember, for a month and a half when she was first brought into the scene as the nominee, she avoided the media for a month and a half, where some members of the media were saying, this is a bad move and you need to come talk to us. This is liberal media saying you need to come talk to us. When she realized that she was behind, she all of a sudden went on a media blitz, her and her running mate, Tim Walz. And every single one was a disaster. Even the ones which were softball, liberal media stacked in her favor, both her and Walz just screwed the pooch. But after Trump went on Joe Rogan's podcast, I'm going to say this just for the side, just a little side thought. Trump is a machine. That man went on Joe Rogan's podcast, spoke for 3 hours, then went to a rally. I mean, that's amazing. Now, Joe Rogan wanted Harris on his podcast, but the Harris campaign started having crazy demands that Joe Rogan just refused to adhere to. He said, look, they wanted him to come to her. It was only going to be for an hour. He was like, no, you're going to come to my studio, and it's going to be 3. And that's a sticking point. Now, he's saying, I would still like to have her on the show. But they're saying, we want to do it under our terms, which means that she doesn't want to go on the show, and she's just making crazy demands knowing that he'll never fulfill them. But I digress. But she went on to Shannon Sharpe's podcast. And once again, it was a disaster. Here, this is on YouTube. You can watch it. It's an hour long. But here is the ratio of likes to dislikes. I say that didn't go very well. And if you read the comments on Shannon Sharpe's Shay Media, if you read the comments, you can see people are pretty much just not buying it, and they're just kind of tearing into her and Sharpe. But during that interview, as you saw the little clip in the beginning, she stated that Trump wanted to just eliminate the Constitution, and then she started rattling off amendments, the 4th Amendment, the 6th Amendment, and then she goes, the 1st Amendment and the 2nd Amendment.
Blacks for Trump. Mm-hmm. They feel that Trump is better for the black community. Can you explain Donald Trump's history with blacks? Where did this come that all of a sudden, I mean, it's been like this because a lot of people used to say, I'm Donald Trump of the ghetto, because he was, for a lot of blacks, not all, but for some blacks, he was, Madam VP, whether we want to admit it or not, he's revered by some blacks.
But here's the thing. The question for everybody, should he be president of the United States?
Okay.
Right? That's the question. Should he have the ability to sit behind the seal of the President of the United States when he says he wants to terminate the Constitution of the United States? You know what that would mean? In the Constitution of the United States is your 4th Amendment right against unreasonable search and seizure, your 5th Amendment right, your 6th Amendment right to an attorney.
Well, a lot of rights going to be gone. The First Amendment.
But the First Amendment, the Second Amendment. Yes. Look, I'm in favor of the Second Amendment. I don't believe we should be taking anybody's guns away. He wants to terminate the Constitution of the United States. He is the same one, like I said earlier, who denied rent to black families, who took out that full-page ad in the New York Times calling for the execution of those children.
Now, when I said projection, I'm going to read what the actual term is. It is common to observe projection in campus and party politics and in human affairs generally. Projection is a well-understood psychological mechanism in which a person or collective accuses another of doing what the accuser himself or itself is doing. Psychological projection is a defense mechanism people subconsciously employ in order to cope with difficult feelings or emotions. Psychological projection involves projecting undesirable feelings or emotions onto someone else, rather than admitting to or dealing with the unwanted feelings. The Democrats are masters of projection. Basically what it comes down to is what you say your opponent is doing, you are doing. And there are plenty of examples of the Democrats using that ideal of projection. But she went on to mention that he's going to take away the Second Amendment. And Tim Walz and I are gun owners. We've heard that before.
I'll get to that, Lindsay. I just need to respond to a previous point that the former president has made. I've made very clear my position on fracking. And then this business about taking everyone's guns away. Tim Walz and I are both gun owners. We're not taking anybody's guns away. So stop with the continuous lying about this stuff.
But we know, and I can make this video literally could be like a minute because just make it a short. But we know that Harris is fervently anti-gun and anti-Second Amendment. Period. She talked about being a gun owner and she has a Glock. I didn't know why the person didn't ask her what model you have, because that's kind of my follow-up question. But she claims that she has a Glock, and she goes, and she went famously on Oprah to say, if you come into my house, you'll get shot. But here's the thing. Harris has pretty much spent most of her adult life in government. While she was district attorney, attorney general, senator, vice president, she has always had protection. So she's not shooting anybody. But it's interesting how she says that she supports the Second Amendment when we have so much evidence to the contrary.
This is not about getting rid of the Second Amendment. It's simply about saying we need reasonable gun safety laws. There is no reason why we have assault weapons on the streets of a civil society. They are weapons of war. They are designed to kill a lot of people quickly.
We want to ban assault weapons, and they want to ban books. Should he have the ability to sit behind the seal of the President of the United States when he says he wants to terminate the Constitution of the United States? You know what that would mean? In the Constitution of the United States is your Fourth Amendment right against unreasonable search and seizure.
Flashback.
Responsible behaviors among everybody in the community, and just because you legally possess a gun in the sanctity of your locked home doesn't mean that we're not going to walk into that home and check to see if you're being responsible and safe in the way you conduct your affairs.
When they say we support the Second Amendment, what they're saying is we support the Second Amendment for us. We support protection for us because we are the elite. That's when they say gun control, and well, of course, their new coined phrase is gun safety, which is a bunch of bullshit. What they really mean is we don't want the public to have guns. Guns can be used to protect us, but not the public. But there it is in a nutshell. She's once again, this is projection, plain and simple, and it has to be exposed. Because now she's trying to play herself as this supposed Second Amendment moderate when she is not. You saw all the clips. She is for mandatory gun buyback.
I support buybacks, and I think that, look, we have 5 million assault weapons on the streets of America, and we have 5 million assault weapons on the streets of America. And assault weapons have been designed to kill a lot of human beings quickly. They are weapons of war, and there is no place for them on a civil society, on the streets of a civil society. And it's something I'm so passionate about and so looking forward to being president to address. We've got to deal with this.
How mandatory is your gun buyback program?
It's mandatory.
Second Amendment?
The Second Amendment, listen, we're going to have to do it the right way. There's no question about that. But we don't have any, we have to get these guns off the street. But I also, I have faith in the American people to know that, that we want to comply with our laws, and that I know that to be true.
She is for a ban on assault weapons. She is for a national red flag laws, which was part of her Biden administration, which she was in charge of. She is all in on gun control because that's really what it is. And when she says gun control is not to prevent criminal activity, it's plain and simply to disarm we the people. I've said this a few times before. When they talk about assault weapons and they need to be banned, that is just the beginning of the snowball effect. Because we know, and this is once again data from the FBI, that more people are killed by handguns every year. These so-called assault weapons only account for a small percentage of actual murders by firearms. We know this. So why the focus on these items? Because snowball effect. We'll start with assault weapons. Crime will continue because they'll never address crime. Then they'll say, oh, we need to get rid of handguns. Crime continues. Now we need to get rid of shotguns. Now we need to get rid of, and it'll just keep going and going and going. That's exactly what their plans are. And they've been playing this long game for a long time. A very long time. But once again, I want to expose the idiocy that is Kamala Harris, who, in my opinion, is nothing more than a political whore. She'll say whatever she has to basically get what she wants. And that's pretty much been her career. You have to remember that she called Biden a racist and a segregationist and a sexual assaulter in the 2019 primaries. Then Biden turns right around and makes her the vice president. It's kind of interesting that a person that you think is, in her opinion, apparently isn't worth a damn, when he offers you the job of vice president. If you had any scruples, you would say, no, I don't jive with you like that. But no, this is about power. She's like, hell yeah, I'm on board. Once again, another example of her fakeness. And it's surprising because if you go watch the Shannon Sharpe video, she did on his podcast what she's done throughout all of her interviews. She gets asked a direct question and she turns it into "but Trump." Never answers the question. All she says at the end is "but Trump." But let me know what you think. As always, you can leave your comments in the comment section below. And as always, any statements of violence or statements that lead to violence will be removed. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you're notified the next time a video goes live. I'm going to see you on the next one. Peace.